the mic.
Get on the mic.
Just get on the mic. Get on the mic, Mike.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Get on the Mic. That's where you put me in front of a microphone with a few notes and I talk about some of the more interesting things that have happened throughout the world of entertainment this week or whatever else I feel like talking about. And, you know, after I recorded early last week, I recorded on Thursday and uploaded on Thursday so I could watch Luke Cage on Friday, which I did get to do, but when Friday rolled around, a ton of new news came out and some updates on some stuff I talked about in said recorded program happened. So my notes started on Friday, the day after record. Now, normally I do look for some stories for the next time and for the next program, but yeah, it was a floodgate on Friday. So my notes started early, and I've been doing stuff up until, you know, I finalized the program today. So there is a lot in today's program. The first thing we're going to be talking about is, has the next Spider-Man movie title been revealed? Also, Tom Hiddleston talks about Loki's fate. We'll also be talking about the possible future of Star Wars. A remake of The Last Jedi. That's going to be something else we discuss. And because it just won't go away, in the What is DC Doing segment, Zack Snyder confirms a fan theory, plus another story in the What is DC Doing segment. Was there more CG on Superman than just his mustache being removed? And then also, and this is going to be the big story of today, AMC versus Moviepass returns. And boy, is that getting heated up. Because a lot of stuff has come out on that one after we talked about it last week. The first story we're going to talk about, though, is, has the next Spider-Man movie title been revealed? Tom Holland is known for both playfully trolling fans and not being very good at keeping secrets about the movies that he's in. I mention this because Holland posted an Instagram video he filmed backstage at the Seattle Comic-Con where he flashed an iPad that is said to have featured on it the sequel script with the and he posted the message, "Sorry for no announcements, but I love you guys." But on the title page of this script, it said, "Spider-Man: Far From Home." While many thought that Holland was pulling another good-natured troll, it turns out that the title page of the sequel script was the genuine article. In an interview with Cinema Blend, Marvel president Kevin Feige confirmed that Spider-Man: Far From Home is the true title of the much-anticipated sequel. He said, quote, "It's similar to Spider-Man: Homecoming. I won't say what the meanings are, but we enjoy that title because, like Homecoming, it is full of alternate meanings. And we liked continuing the home thing with the little Spidey symbol in the home." This alone really doesn't reveal much about what the movie is going to be about. But an earlier interview with Feige does. In an interview with IO9 earlier this year, Feige revealed that Spidey would be web-slinging his way across other countries. He said, quote, "We start filming in early July. We film in London. We shot the first film in Atlanta, and we shoot lots of films in London, but there's another reason we're shooting in London, which is, yes, Spidey, of course, will spend some time in New York, but he'll spend some time in other parts of the globe as well." Not much else is known about the movie. We still don't know if Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be playing Mysterio. We do know that Michael Keaton's Vulture will be back in the movie in some way, shape, or form. I'd like to see Michael Mando's Mac Gargan at least tease a change to the Scorpion. There's rumors that Tom Hardy's Venom might actually connect to the movie, even though they keep denying it. We still don't know if this story will happen before or after the next Avengers movie timeline-wise. I'm guessing it almost has to come after, since the next Avengers movie is it comes out before Spider-Man, like right before, like I think a couple months. Even though Peter died in Infinity War, I still think this is going to be the case. I mean, yes, he's dead, and it was one of the most emotional scenes in Infinity War. But you don't wait that long to be able to use Spider-Man and then not use him anymore. No matter what they're going to do, though, I am pretty invested in seeing where this is all going to go. On another Spidey note, we should start hearing some information soon on the movie because Spider-Man Far From Home is set to begin filming in a week or so. The next story we're going to talk about is Tom Hiddleston talking about Loki's fate. Okay, Loki. What can you say about Tom Hiddleston's take on the classic villain that hasn't already been said? Until Infinity War came along, he was by far the most interesting villain in the MCU on the movie side of things anyway. You could add in Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin and David Tennant's Kilgrave. They would be up there if we were counting everything. Sorry, but while I love Loki, I think Josh Brolin's take on Thanos kind of took his title, because he was amazing in that role. And besides, Loki kind of became a good guy in the end. After the beginning of Infinity War, and I'm sorry, spoilers. If you haven't seen Infinity War by now, well, yeah. After the beginning where Loki tries to trick and murder Thanos, Loki seems to meet his end at the hands of the Mad Titan. Many thought that this couldn't really be the end of Loki, could it? I mean, he is the god of mischief, and this wouldn't be the first time that he's cheated death. See the end of Thor: The Dark World, if you want to check that part out. Unfortunately, this is not the case. At least this is what Hiddleston is telling us. Hiddleston appeared at Ace Comic-Con and confirmed that the God of Mischief is indeed dead, and the character's story has come to a close. He also revealed when he found out about his character's fate. He said, quote, "So I've known about that scene for 2 years. I met with Marvel in May 2016, and they were actually telling me the story of Ragnarok with concept art and images. The Russos came in and I introduced myself. So all 4 of us sat down and they said this is how Infinity War begins. My whole journey through making Thor Ragnarok, I knew this was coming. By the end of that film, Loki has been accepted as Thor's brother again." Excuse me. He also talked about why his death needed to happen. What he said is something that I alluded to without spoiling, of course, in my review of the movie. He said, quote, "When I came to shoot the scene in Infinity War, I think it's very powerful. He calls himself an Odin son, and that closes the whole journey of Loki and what he can do. It, meaning Loki's death, sets the stakes up emotionally. It takes the stakes up dramatically. You know that Thanos is someone who's more dangerous than anyone we've ever seen." Yeah, I believe I talked about it in my spoiler review with Heidner as well. Is killing off Loki basically shows that Thanos ain't to be effed with. If he could kill Loki, anyone could die, right? So him needing to take out powerful guys like that, or a powerful guy like that, is a big statement to those movies. I mean, yeah, he killed Heimdall too, but, you know, and yes, I like Heimdall, but it's kind of like the way Hela was able to easily dispatch the Warriors 3. It just kind of sends a message that this villain means business. Of course, there are rumors that Avengers 4 may involve a bit of time travel. So who knows what's going to happen with anybody's characters in the MCU. I have a theory about the end of Thor's story that involves Loki staying dead. That would be a fitting end for all the Asgardians in this movie's universe. So in a way, I kind of hope he stays gone, as much as that pains me to say. I see Thor falling bravely in the final battle with Thanos. At the end of Avengers 4, I see him walking into Valhalla and being greeted by the Warriors 3, maybe Sif if they can get her, freed up to be able to do the movie. Valkyrie, who I think will also fall, helping Thor. That's the wild card right there. Also, Odin will be there, and Loki will as well. I see the forever long celebration begin during a very long Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings-like ending to Avengers 4. That's what I want to see for how they wrap up the whole Asgardians thing. Next, we're going to be talking about the possible future of Star Wars. Boy, has this been a cluster F of a time for the Star Wars universe over the last, month, 2 months or so. Hell, you could say few months or half a year or whatever, because the controversy kind of started with The Last Jedi. But I'm referring more to the poor, undeserving underperformance of Solo. It had the rumor mill on overload just a week ago or so. There were rumors that Disney and Lucasfilm were going to scrap all the Star Wars Stories movies to focus on Episode 9 and the trilogies from both Rian Johnson and the Game of Thrones showrunners, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. There are rumors that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to fire Kathleen Kennedy as head of all of the Star Wars stuff, but are having trouble finding a suitable replacement. Lucasfilm, after I had recorded my program last week, Lucasfilm came out and in a statement denied the rumors, saying that reports of delays were, quote, premature and speculative. And also, multiple Star Wars movies were still in they said that multiple Star Wars movies are still in development that haven't even been officially announced. So, despite Lucasfilm's denials, the rumor mill just keeps going, of course. This is the day and age where everyone has an opinion, myself included. While not all of them deal with the Star Wars Stories brand, a lot of the new rumors do involve Obi-Wan Kenobi. The first rumor is that Ewan McGregor is going to reprise his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi not in a solo film, but in Star Wars Episode 9. The Sun UK is reporting that McGregor will secretly film scenes for the upcoming J.J. Abrams directed movie. Granted, the Sun UK isn't the most reliable source for, anything, but this one could have come from anybody and it would make sense. Honestly, this is no real surprise if it happens. I've been thinking this would happen ever since The Force Awakens, when Ewan McGregor recorded the voiceover along with the clip they edited from some old Sir Alec Guinness audio for the scene when Rey touches Luke and or Anakin's lightsaber for the first time. I think he is going to show up along with, at the least, a Force Ghost Luke, and then with possible ghosts of Yoda, and in a long shot prediction, I've been saying this for a long time, Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. That last one is for Kylo Ren. He's going to see that one. Again, this rumor will more than likely happen, meaning the Obi-Wan Force Ghost. As for the other rumor, this one is kind of intriguing. With the new Disney streaming service coming, whenever it's coming, There is speculation that some of the Star Wars stories might get moved to the service to drum up interest in it, as well as clean up Disney's Star Wars movie slate, which many think is getting a bit too bloated. Think about it. What better way to drum up interest in a new streaming service than to release a movie that brings back probably the one character from the prequels that everybody actually liked? And then, of course, they brought back Darth Maul already, so that was the other character from the prequels that everyone liked. But I'm talking that went through all the movies. The big rumor is that the Obi-Wan movie that was planned as a Star Wars story may become a streaming service exclusive. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to make everybody happy if this happens. If this happened, I think many would be mad that they would have to subscribe to the service to see it instead of just going to the theater. This, of course, would probably lead to the show getting pirated, or to the movie getting pirated in numbers that would rival Game of Thrones piracy. Then again, I think Disney already announcing that the service is going to have an exclusive live-action Star Wars TV series from Jon Favreau has fans of the franchise already reaching for their wallets anyway. Am I right? Unless it comes out at a ridiculous monthly price, I plan on getting the service. So let me ask you this. In the comments below, let me know, which one would you prefer? A theatrical release or a streaming service exclusive? Now, for me, my answer, yes. Plain and simple, yes. The next story we're going to talk about, a little silly, but I had to bring it up. Is there going to be a remake of The Last Jedi? So we're sticking with Star Wars news here. Now look, I had my issues with The Last Jedi, but I found both things that worked and things that didn't in the movie. I'm not going to go into that here. You can see my review on my channel for that. But did you know that there are fans out there that are trying to get Disney to remake The Last Jedi? No, I'm not kidding. Let me just say this first before I get into the story. Hey, idiots. Carrie Fisher is gone. You plan on recasting that part? Morons. Anyway, let's move on. This group of individuals have a website, which I won't support by putting up their link, where you add your email address and even pledge a dollar amount toward the project. Though no financial information is collected from visitors, so it appears to be purely symbolic. Also, the site owners claim they have unnamed producers who will ultimately cover the film's budget. The site's mission statement reads, yes, they have a mission statement, quote, "This is a campaign to provide Disney an opportunity to course correct with the Star Wars franchise. The fans are completely divided, and the core goal of Star Wars has been abandoned. This isn't a joke." Here's the fun part. And I'm sure this quote-unquote support of the site is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but they have the most unlikely of supporters. The Last Jedi director himself, Rian Johnson. In a reply to one of the group's tweets, Johnson replied, "Please, please, 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 please actually happen. Please, 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 please." And then he added 13 praying hands emojis. Look, while they seem to have the full support of Johnson, they just need Disney to throw their own movie into the trash compactor. A movie that cost them $250 million to make and grossed $1.3 billion worldwide. Yeah, good luck with that one. Okay. So, hey, it's time for everyone's favorite segment about everyone's favorite superhero punching bag. It's time for, say it with me, what is DC doing? The first story in the What is DC Doing segment. Zack Snyder confirms a fan theory. Much to the Warner Brothers' annoyance, Zack Snyder just won't go away. While it's not the only thing that bothered me about Batman v Superman, and trust me, there was a lot, one of the things that got on my nerves was the wasting of the character Doomsday. While he did do one of the things he was famous for, which was killing old soups himself, the character's backstory and pretty much everything else about him was really nothing like his comic book counterpart. A popular fan theory out there was that BVS's Doomsday is not the real Doomsday. Thanks to Zack Snyder, we now know the real answer to that question. Whether or not he was either revealing a future plan or just trolling the hell out of Warner Brothers, he went to social media and answered the question with a simple phrase, quote, "Yes, the real Doomsday is still out there." This, of course, is not going to settle down those fans that are mad that Snyder is pretty much gone from the DCEU. He is still a producer on Wonder Woman 1994. This is also going to anger those of us who thought that the Death of Superman storyline was wasted, along with the other 5,702 other comic storylines that movie tried to cram in. Snyder still having a platform to say whatever he wants about, quote, his DC movie universe, end quote, only solidifies my argument from last week's show. I think if Warner Brothers wants to shut him up, they're gonna have to release his cut of Justice League. And speaking of Justice League, did you think we were done with DC today? In the next What is DC Doing segment, was there more CG on Superman than just his mustache? We all know about Warner Brothers, of course, having to digitally remove Henry Cavill's amazing mustache that will single-handedly win Mission Impossible Fall at the box office after its release. We've talked about it many times on this program. Here's the thing. There was more CGI involved with Superman than we knew of. It turns out that there is a scene in which Henry Cavill's hands were also digitally rendered into the movie. The scene in question happens towards the end of the film as Superman swoops in to help the rest of the League defeat Steppenwolf and his Parademon army. While this could be chalked up to the studio having to cover up a body double that had to take the place of Cavill on a day he couldn't be there for reshoots, the scene sticks out like a sore thumb because it not only has the weird CG hands, but the famous strange CG'd upper lip as well. It's insane how a movie that needs a ton of CG, that requires a ton of CG to pull off, is brought down so far for having poor CG. Between Cavill's upper lip work and Steppenwolf looking like a cartoon character in the real people's world, I really do hope that Warner Brothers has learned their lesson that they need to not only tell good stories, which is kind of lacking as well, to be honest, but step up their CG game as well. Alright, now for the big story. AMC versus Moviepass, whatever round they're on. I kind of lost count. But the big fight is happening now. You knew this was coming. After AMC announced their own subscription service, the A-List, the battle with Moviepass was on. And it didn't take long after I recorded last week's podcast for things to get freaking ugly. Last week, we talked about Moviepass getting pretty defensive about the whole situation. I talked about what I thought Moviepass needed to do to keep their subscribers confident and happy about the Moviepass service. Well, they did respond, and if I do say so myself, they crapped the bed on this one. To keep things simple, I'm just going to read the response from Moviepass in its entirety when it comes to their changes that they've made. This is from my own email, so this does have a bearing on me as a customer. So, here we go. A message to our members. The revolution is happening right now, and it is all thanks to you. In less than a year, 3 million pioneers joined us on our journey to see more great movies at an unbeatable price. And we want to thank you. Yeah, get ready, because this is a big thanks. More like a big F you. Our community for your steadfast support of our company and growth. In the spirit of innovation and growth of the money in their pockets, we are now announcing the next phase in the evolution of our product, demand pricing. In the coming weeks, we will roll out 3 different upgrades to our base $9.95 service for our members. The first one, bring a guest. Moviepass members will be able to purchase extra tickets to a showing of a movie right through the Moviepass app, so that you can seamlessly reserve seats for you and your friends at e-ticketing partnering theaters to watch a film even if they aren't Moviepass subscribers. As a benefit, if your friend signs up for Moviepass within 24 hours, we'll refund the entire cost of the ticket. This is sounding fantastic, right? Peak pricing. This is my favorite. Peak pricing. Moviepass is committed to maintaining our low monthly price as we continue to grow rapidly. Rather than raise our prices or limit viewings, our plan has been to develop a new variable pricing system based on the demand of particular showtimes. Under this plan, if the combination of demand for a title, date, or part of the day is higher, subscribers may be asked to pay a small additional fee depending on the level of demand. You can avoid this peak surcharge by choosing an alternative date or film. We will also soon give subscribers 1 peak pass per month, allowing them to waive a peak price surcharge once per month. Annual and quarterly subscribers will not incur peak pricing until their current subscription term ends and then renews. By the way, I'm a monthly subscriber. Yeah. Premium showings. Moviepass members on any plan will soon be able to access Reel D 3D, IMAX 2D or 3D, and other premium large format showings of any film for an additional upgrade fee. These features are being tested currently and will slowly roll out to all our members over the next several weeks. Yay. Our aim is to create the most flexible and cost-efficient product by charging you more, so that we don't have to simply raise the price on the subscription, which would be easier. We appreciate your flexibility, and I don't really have any, as we evolve our service to keep Moviepass at a low cost, and except for all the fees we're going to tack on. We can't express how much we value all of you for being part of that vision. Thank you, sincerely, the Moviepass team. Okay, let's break it down. What works? All right. First, the bring a friend option for a fee is not a bad idea. Granted, it's not a fee. If it were a fee, that would be fine. But granted, it's not. It doesn't say they get a discounted price or anything. It just says that you can purchase extra tickets through the app itself. This is a benefit, but not really. If your friend signs up for Moviepass within 24 hours, they will refund the ticket cost. Fine. But is this starting to sound like a pyramid scheme to anybody else? They need to make a straight up family plan or just a small fee for adding a friend. Not this nonsense. Strike one. As a subscriber to the service, this next one is the one that pisses me off the most. Peak pricing is by far the dumbest idea that they have ever had. They all of a sudden get to decide that they can charge an extra and at this time unknown fee to any movie they see fit at any time. I'm sure this will be added to any and all quote-unquote big movies that are coming out. Also, they will not say what those costs are going to be and how they will determine them. I've seen articles that say the cost could be anywhere from $2 to $6 per movie, but I'm not sure how accurate those reports are. From an AMA Ask Me Anything event that Moviepass CEO Mitch Lowe was involved in on Tuesday, he said that the app would inform customers of what the extra cost would be before they left the house, and that some movies and certain times would have no fee. I'll put a link to that AMA in the description below. I'm not going to sift through that entire thing. Trust me, it is long, and it gets kind of mean. So I'm not going to cover it in entirety on this program because it would be a really long, probably 4-hour program. I just have to say this. You know what pisses customers off more than bad customer service and changes to the service that they love? Yep, that's right. Unknown charges and costs. Strike 2. What about the premium showings? While they didn't say how much the upgrade fee was going to be, the idea isn't one that I'm opposed to. This is the only rule that makes any sense. Of course, here's a kicker that I don't know if this is a thing or not because they didn't really explain it. You might be paying for an IMAX upgrade fee, fine. You know, you would expect that. Plus, you may be paying a peak pricing fee as well. So, foul ball. They're still up to bat. Moviepass still has a chance for now. I have this bad feeling they're close to striking out, though. So, what about AMC? What is the A-list program all about? Let's break it down, shall we? This info can be found on the AMC Stubs A-list membership info site, and I will put a link to that in the description as well. Here's just a few of the things that the frequently asked questions segment covered. What is AMC Stubs A-list? AMC Stubs A-list is our newest and best tier in the AMC Stubs loyalty program. See up to 3 movies every week, including all of our premium formats such as IMAX at AMC, Dolby Digital, Prime at AMC, Real D, 3D, Big D, and D-Box at any of our U.S. locations. Members can make advance reservations online and via the AMC app for free. Not only that, AMC Stubs A-list members also receive benefits of AMC Stubs Premier complimentary. So if you're a member of AMC Premier, you get all that stuff plus the movies. How long does a membership last? New AMC Stubs A-listers have a 3-month minimum commitment. After that, your membership will last until you opt out of recurring billing. As long as you are an A-list member, your credit or debit card will be charged the recurring monthly fee on the same day each month. So basically, the date you sign up, that's going to be your charge date. Do you get a membership card? AMC Stubs A-list members do not receive a physical card. However, you can access your virtual card with ease using the AMC mobile app. If you upgraded to A-list from Premier and had a physical card, you can continue to use that card as an A-list member. If someone just enrolled in AMC Stubs Premier, which is like $15 a month, I think, what happens if they enroll in AMC Stubs A-list? Your AMC Stubs A-list membership includes benefits of AMC Stubs Premier. If you are currently a Premier member and upgrade to A-list, we will pause your current Premier membership. If at any time you cancel A-list, your Premier membership will be reinstated for the duration of time you had left prior to joining A-list. What are the benefits of AMC Stubs A-list? AMC Stubs A-list members receive all the same benefits that an AMC Stubs Premier member receives, with the addition of seeing up to 3 movies per week. Does a subscriber earn AMC Stubs points on the monthly membership charge? Absolutely. AMC Stubs A-list members earn points on the monthly membership charge, points that are earned at the rate of 100 points per full $1. And I do the math for that later, so just keep that in mind. Do I earn AMC Stubs points on the tickets I reserve? No, you will not receive AMC Stubs points for tickets reserved through A-List. However, you you will earn points on your monthly recurring charge, as well as additional tickets you buy off of A-List and or concessions that you purchase at the theater. There is a ton of other information about the program. But the stuff I just revealed gives you a general idea of what's going on. Again, you can read all this info on the link provided below in the description. There's a lot more that it really breaks down the program. So, what works about this program? How do I put this easy? From what I'm reading, pretty much everything. Well, it does cost more per month versus Moviepass. It's only limited to AMC theaters, and you only get 3 movies a week. The benefits far outweigh the issues that I have with it. I gotta say this. AMC was pretty smart. They definitely researched Moviepass before revealing their plan. You could tell. Here's some of the things that they're doing against Moviepass. That's things that Moviepass don't do. They will let you either spread your 3 movies out throughout the week, which I believe goes from Friday morning to Thursday evening. Is kind of how it works. So you can either spread them out, or you can see them all in one day if you choose. You can watch a different movie every week, or the same one over and over and over and over again, if you so choose. Personally, I think that rule is definitely the big middle finger to Moviepass from AMC, because that's something that Moviepass took away and people are not real happy about. You can reserve your tickets in advance. You get all the benefits you got with AMC Stubs Premier, such as food upgrades, no online ticketing fees, etc. Also, you get 1,900 Stubs points a month for your subscription cost. It costs $19.95 a month, but that 95 isn't a complete dollar, so it doesn't count. I actually tweeted them about this and talked to a rep about that. So you get 1,900 Stubs points a month. That adds up to 22,800 free Stubs points a year. 5,000 points get you $5 Stubs money. So you're looking at about $20 Stubs cash a year extra. So what don't I like about the service? Because there is some things that I won't say they worry me, but I gotta keep an eye on. I don't like that you can't use Stubs points to help pay for your subscription, like you could for Stubs Premier. You could take $15 of Stubs points and renew if you wanted to. This one doesn't really surprise me, though. These next two kind of go hand in hand. I don't like that you can't pay for the service a year in advance, because I thought that might be a good idea for actually both programs. With Moviepass, they had a deal where you could sign up for a year, but you had to start a new one, and I didn't want to do that. The one I had was working just fine. Also, while your price of $19.95 is locked in for a year after signing up, who knows if the price will go up after that year. I'm gonna make a guess though. If this program destroys Moviepass within a year, the price will go up a little bit. If not, they'll have to keep prices down to keep the pressure on Moviepass until again they destroy them. Because that's the ultimate goal here. They don't like Moviepass, and Moviepass wants to work with them, but Moviepass again isn't making a lot of good decisions right now. And their parent company's stock is in the toilet, from what I understand. I don't understand stocks and stuff, but apparently it's pretty bad. So where does this leave me personally? Right now, I am a subscriber of both. I plan on using the AMC A-List for any time I go to an AMC theater, and the Moviepass for everywhere else. pretty much all the theaters I go to take Moviepass, so that won't be a real issue for me of it not covering something. At the moment, I can't, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I trust AMC more right now than I do Moviepass. I think that they have put way more thought into their business plan for a subscription service than Moviepass has. They definitely watched Moviepass and found out what worked and what didn't, especially what didn't work, and then improved on it. Only time will tell which one of these will come out on top, or if they will actually find a way to coexist, which I don't believe AMC wants in any way, shape, or form, but you never know. And of course, on this program, it's been a hot topic since the beginning of Get on the Mic. I will keep you all updated if I hear anything else. Plus, I will keep you updated on how I think the services are working, and when this peak pricing thing and all that stuff starts, I'll keep you updated on that as well. Now on the quick hits. Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld has expressed regret that people would never get to see Donald Glover's Deadpool series. Showing a bit of relief, he talked about it at the premiere of Ant-Man and the Wasp Monday night. Excuse me. He said, quote, "I can talk about this now. I thought the whole thing was brilliant, and I really can't say anything more than that, or I'll get into all sorts of trouble from every side. But I mean, I mourn the loss of that entire project. Donald is a genius, and I always wonder how that would have worked out. But Marvel says, quote," and this is Liefeld still saying this, "Rob, good things are coming, and good things have always come, so I'm going to believe them and hang on for dear life," end quote. As we have reported on this podcast, the show was dropped from the FX network, citing, or it was going to be on the FX network, citing creative differences. Writer and director James Gunn has revealed that he has finished his first draft script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which seems to now be, a surprise to nobody, the official title of the movie. Gunn went on Twitter and posted a picture of the cover of the script with the caption, "Every bit of my heart." No matter if the Guardians movies continue after Volume 3, I have a feeling that Gunn is done with them after this one, and I feel that we are going to get every bit of what he wants out of this franchise in the third installment. The director of both Ant-Man movies, Peyton Reed, was supposed to direct a Fantastic Four movie for Fox in the early 2000s, and that is still one of his dream projects. In an interview with Cinema Blend, he was asked if his Fantastic Four script could be brought back if Disney acquired the rights to Marvel's first family. He said, quote, "Well, I have been known to mention Fantastic Four in conversations that may or may not have happened in the Marvel hallways. It's all a giant question mark at this point, because no one knows if this merger is going to happen. It was on, it was off, it was on, who knows? I guess I can dream, right? I can have the dream. We'll see, time will tell," end quote. When asked to describe his version of the super family, he talked about his movie. He talked about how his movie would have been set in the 1960s and treated the heroes as if they were rock stars. Quote, "At the beginning of a working day in Manhattan, you're in line at Starbucks and someone runs in, 'Hey, the Fantastic Four is fighting right around the corner.' People run out of Starbucks and the camera flies around to the corner to this splash page imagery where the Human Torch is flying, the Thing is fighting, and it's just chaos." Really, Joss's first Avengers movie had that feel. It's broad daylight. There was a time when you just didn't have the technology, so a lot of those fights took place at night. We thought having it take place in the city during the day would have been a lot of fun. They were kind of modern celebrities. There were a lot of different versions of it, but that was a movie I really wanted to make, end quote. Sticking with Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige has been teasing the future of the MCU for a while, and now he's dropped some more hints. While details are sketchy, then he said that things in the MCU will be, quote, less cagey. after the next Avengers movie, he did hint that Marvel may be introducing the popular comic team, the Young Avengers, and the possible inclusion of LGBT characters. He said, quote, "There are a lot of potential characters that are among that list. Marketing's coming up with all sorts of things, how to debut those plans, how to debut Captain Marvel, lots of opportunities for fun, exciting stuff coming up. And after Avengers 4, things being less cagey about it." When asked if more young heroes could be joining Marvel TV shows such as Cloak and Dagger, he said, quote, "Well, sure, and both of those you just mentioned we talked about for a long time, and they went over to be successful TV shows. We've always been fans of Power Pack and figuring that out. And yes, so where and when we could see the evolution of that, I don't know. And certainly taking our cue from comics as we always do, that's why we wanted Cassie, a very young Cassie in this movie, to be inspired by her father, just planting seeds," end quote. As for the inclusion of LGBT characters, Feige was asked when characters would make their debut in the MCU. While remaining a bit tight-lipped, he teased 3 characters at the very least. He said, quote, "Both characters you've seen and ones you haven't seen. The only character that we know of that is LGBT is Valkyrie, who Tessa Thompson herself says is bisexual, saying that a scene of this, or scenes of this, were left on the cutting room floor of Ragnarok. There was also supposed to be a scene in Black Panther that teased a gay romance as well, but again, that was cut from the final film. From clown to a vampire. What does this mean? Well, get this. Jared Leto has been cast to star in the next Spideyless, that we know of, Spider-Man universe for Sony as Morbius the Living Vampire. Dr. Michael Morbius, a scientist who suffered from a rare blood disease and attempted to cure himself to disastrous results. Instead of being cured, he became afflicted with a condition that was a form of vampirism. It's not known if Leto will be playing the villain version of the character or the heroic one. The movie will be directed by Daniel Espinosa, who has directed such movies as Safe House, Life, and Child 44. Side note, Child 44 starred Tom Hardy, wink wink, nudge nudge. And there's no other real information on this movie. The makers of Top Gun 2 or Top Gun Maverick or whatever it's going to be called are looking for an actor to play the son of Nick Goose Bradshaw, who was played by Anthony Edwards in the original movie. There are reports that Paramount is looking at Nicholas Hoult, Glenn Powell, who was John Glenn in Hidden Figures, and Miles Teller for the role. Not much is known about the role yet, and it remains to be seen if Goose's son wound up following in his father's footsteps and becomes a pilot. It is also not known if Meg Ryan will reprise her role as Goose's widow Carol yet, either. Russell Crowe has been cast to play the late disgraced Fox News founder Roger Ailes in an 8-episode limited series at Showtime. The Untitled Project, based upon the reporting of Gabriel Sherman in New York Magazine and subsequent book, The Loudest Voice in the Room, will be told through multiple points of view and, quote, aims to shed light on the psychology that drives the political process from the top down, end quote. Showtime president and CEO David Nevins said this of the project, quote, "In many ways, the collision between the media and politics has come to define the world we live in today. We've seen this phenomenon depicted on screen as far back as the story of Charles Foster Kane, and it and it finds contemporary embodiment in the rise and fall of Roger Ailes. With Russell Crowe in the lead role, this limited series promises to be a defining story of this era," end quote. Well, a bit of bad news, for my prediction skills anyway. The kiddos for the remake of Pet Sematary have been cast, and Jacob Tremblay is not playing Gage. I'm guessing he was too old given the age of the kids that they did cast. Yes, I did say kids. 3-year-old twins Hugo Lavoie and Lucas Lavoie will play Gage, the toddler of the Creed family. 10-year-old Jete Lawrence will play Ellie Creed. Quote from the synopsis: a sweet and sensitive young girl who adores her cat Winston Churchill, or Church, for short, and wins over the heart of the old-timer who lives next door, played by John Lithgow, end quote. Also part of the official synopsis that has been released from Paramount Picture reads, based on the seminal horror novel by Stephen King, Pet Sematary follows Dr. Lewis Creed, who played by Clark, who after relocating with his wife Rachel and their 2 young children from Boston to Royal Maine, because of course it's Maine, discovers a mysterious burial ground hidden deep in the woods near the family's new home. When tragedy strikes, Lewis turns to his unusual neighbor, Judd Crandall, played by John Lithgow, setting off a perilous chain reaction that unleashes an unfathomable evil with horrific consequences. Pet Sematary will be released on April 5th, 2019. Sticking with the theme of Stephen King, there has been 2 more actors cast for It Chapter 2. Teach Grant, who is a part of Netflix's Altered Carbon, will be playing, to my surprise, the adult version of bully Henry Bowers. I thought he had died in the first chapter, but I guess he survived. I don't remember the miniseries very well, but from what I understand, that character is a big part of the adult storyline, so I guess this does make sense. How he survived, I'm not sure. Jess Wexler, who has been in the movie Teeth and the show The Good Wife, will be playing Bill Denbrow's wife, Audra. It Chapter 2 will be released on September 6th, 2019. And again, staying with the Stephen King theme, Jessica Chastain has revealed why she wanted to join It Chapter 2, other than the fact that she's just perfect for the role anyway. She has revealed that she grew up reading King's books and watching the movies based on them. She said, quote, "Oh yeah, I remember reading Pet Sematary. Ooh, I was so young when I read that book, and I got so scared, and I watched that movie so many times. I read The Shining. I really like his writing." End quote. She also gave her thoughts on the horror genre as well. She said, quote, "I actually love the horror genre because I found that in the past, I think things are changing now, but in the past, the horror genre in particular really has great female characters. I'm very happy to work again in a genre that actually has empowered women. And in that genre, you usually see the person surviving at the end being the lady. You don't know. Do you know what I mean? She conquers the monsters of the bad guys and she walks away at the end," end quote. MTV is trying to become relevant again by dipping into the past. They're planning on reviving Daria, the Beavis and Butthead spinoff, The Real World, and a live-action version of the cartoon Aeon Flux because it worked so well the first time. I love you, Charlize, but that movie. The Roseanne spinoff has finally been given the go-ahead. ABC has given a series order to The Connors, a spinoff starring original cast members John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, Sarah Gilbert, Lacey Goranson, and Michael Fishman. Roseanne Barr, who is the only thing keeping the series from happening, had this to say about giving up her financial and creative stake in the show. Quote, "I regret the circumstances that have caused me to be removed from Roseanne. I agreed to the settlement in order that 200 jobs of beloved cast and crew could be saved, and I wish the best for everyone involved." In a joint statement released by ABC, cast members Goodman, Metcalf, Gilbert, Goranson, and Fishman said, quote, "We have received a tremendous amount of support from the fans of our show, and it's clear that these characters not only have a place in our hearts, but in the hearts and homes of our audience. We all came back last season because we wanted to tell stories, we want to tell stories about the challenges facing a working class family today. We are so happy to have the opportunity to return with the cast and crew to continue to share those stories through love and laughter," end quote. The Connors, which is currently a working title for the spinoff, end up being the title, which is it has been given a 10 episode order, but it does not know how Barr's character is going to be written off the show. Solo may have not been as popular at the box office as Disney and Lucasfilm would have liked, but that doesn't mean that Han Solo isn't still a hot property. As Han Solo famously said, quote, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid," end quote. This would seem to be the case because One of the blaster pistol props used by Harrison Ford in Return of the Jedi went under the auction hammer, selling for $550,000, topping the $450,000 previously fetched by Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from the first two films. 40 other items from the movie, including an Ewok axe and plans for Jabba the Hutt's ship, were also involved. The Ewok axe went for $11,250, while another blaster prop from the film fetched $90,624. Excuse me. According to Julian's Auctions, the auctioneers, while people love Han Solo, it seems that there is something else from Star Wars that they love more, which would be R2-D2. Last year, an R2-D2 used in the making of several Star Wars films sold for $2.76 million at an auction in Los Angeles. Sticking with Star Wars, in an interview, Mark Hamill talked about the difference between how George Lucas and Disney have handled the Star Wars franchise. He said, quote, "George Lucas had an overall story arc in the original trilogy. If he didn't have all the details, he had an overall feel for where it was going. The sequel trilogy is more like a relay race. You run and hand the torch off to the next guy. He picks it up and goes. Rian Johnson didn't write what happens in episode 9. He was going to hand it off to Colin Trevorrow and now J.J. Abrams," end quote. The one thing he didn't specify is which one he preferred. Hercule Poirot will not only have to solve a huge case in Kenneth Branagh's next outing as the popular detective, but he'll have to figure out how to defeat the Empire. The Empire I'm talking about? Why, Disney, of course. The sequel to Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express, which is to be Death on the Nile, got pushed back a few weeks from its, or pushed ahead, I guess it would be back, pushed back for a few weeks from its November 2019 release date, which lines up to have it take on Star Wars Episode 9 at the box office. Not only that, but it has to take on the movie adaptation of the Broadway smash Wicked as well. Death on the Nile, which will adapt Agatha Christie's 1937 Poirot novel of the same name, has Branagh returning to his duties of directing and starring. Poirot's movie isn't the only one that's going to have to be competing with Star Wars. The next Jumanji movie will be opening a week before Star Wars Episode 9 on December 13th, 2019. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle came out the week after The Last Jedi in 2017, coming in second at the box office. In its fifth week, however, it climbed to the number one spot and in the end made almost $1 billion worldwide. As good as that movie was or had any right to be, I think it'll just do just fine in that spot. Rebel Wilson is set to star in and produce a movie adaptation of the comic book Crowded. Wilson will develop the project and produce it via her Camp Sugar production banner, also producing as Oni Entertainment. The story is set in a near future where the world's economy is all job sharing and apps, where a crowdfunding platform that funds assassinations named Reaper is all the rage. The story is set in motion when a woman named Charlie, leading a quiet, normal life, finds her world turned upside down when she suddenly becomes a target of Reaper, with a multi-million-dollar bounty on her head. Desperate, the woman hires the only person she is able to afford, Vita, the lowest-rated bodyguard on the Defend app. The two have to work together to take down the assassins and find out who wants Charlie dead before the campaign's 30-day period concludes, or their lives are over. The first movie hasn't even come out yet, but there is already a sequel in the works for Mark Wahlberg's Mile 22. While sequel plans may seem premature, STX Films have already envisioned Mile 22 as a cross-platform franchise spanning film, television, and VR. Everybody has an opinion on who should take over the role of James Bond once Daniel Craig is done with the role. One person to have an opinion is another former Bond, Pierce Brosnan. When asked who he thinks should play the super spy, he said, quote, "I think Tom Hardy could be a good Bond. I'd be happy to see him do it. You need an actor who can put a bit of wiggle into it. That's what makes Bond." end quote. He did give some praise to the current Bond as well. He said, quote, Daniel Craig has been an incredible Bond. He's very physical, he looks lethal, and you genuinely believe that this is somebody that could kill a man. One of my favorite actors, Ron Perlman, shared a story over his Twitter page that involved an encounter with Harvey Weinstein at a charity event years ago, showing that even then he wasn't a fan of the now disgraced movie producer. To his over 700,000 followers, he said, quote, did I ever tell you about when Harvey Weinstein told me to make sure I shook his hand at a charity event? I stopped in the men's room and pissed all over my hand, then went straight up to him on the receiving line, end quote. Okay, so I'm not really a fan of getting into politics on my channel because I really don't like any politician. So this next part is no commentary on the subject. Perlman, who if you follow him, you know he is not a fan of the current administration, then finished up his tweet by saying, quote, I think about that every time Donald Trump opens his KFC, end quote. Speaking of Trump, the producer of the Purge franchise, Jason Blum, or is it Blum? Bloom? I don't know. I believe it's Blum, says that he could see the plot of those movies becoming a reality with Donald Trump in office. He said, quote, if every time there's a shooting in the United States, the government's answer was to put more guns in people's hands than what the Purge is showing, doesn't seem all that crazy. Donald Trump keeps saying, give teachers guns. I could see him saying, let people shoot whoever they want for the next 12 hours, or for 12 hours a year. The hell you say? I never would have guessed that this is how he felt. Those movies never showed anything resembling the Trump presidency plot-wise in their marketing or in the movies or anything. Page and Captain Obvious. The cast of HBO's Watchmen plot series continues to grow. Jeremy Irons has been cast as what's being described as a lead role on the show. Not much else is known about the series except that it will be separate from Zack Snyder's adaptation of the comic book series. Irons joins a cast that includes Regina King, Don Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson, Louis Gossett Jr., Adelaide Clemens, and Andrew Howard. Facebook, everybody knows I love me some Facebook. Facebook is testing a new algorithm that will allow the social media giant to protect you from spoilers. They will be letting a small percentage of test users test it out first, allowing them to not allow certain keywords onto their news feed. The new program is called Keyword Snooze, and if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you think about Facebook, you'll get to try it out next week. If this is like anything else Facebook offers, I'm sure they'll find some way to make the service better if you only just pay a little money for it. Jessica Alba and Gabrielle Union are teaming up in a TV show spinoff of the Bad Boys movie franchise. LA's Finest will follow Union's character from Bad Boys 2, last seen in Miami taking down a drug cartel. She has left her past behind her to become an LAPD detective, where she will be partnered up with Alba's character, who is a working mom with an equally complex past. Charter, a cable company that I've never even heard of, has ordered 13 episodes of the show, which will be the first scripted series for the cable company. LA's Finest is set to debut sometime in 2019. The idea of Double Dare returning to Nickelodeon wasn't... If the idea of Double Dare returning to Nickelodeon wasn't enough of a nostalgia trip for you, it has been reported that two of the celebrity contestants will be none other than the Good Burger Bros themselves, Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. Again, they are no mere guest stars. They're going to be getting down and dirty with all the other contestants. The revamped show is now hosted by YouTube star Lisa Koshy. Honestly, I have no idea who that is. With color commentary provided by the former Double Dare host Mark Summers. The Double Dare reboot has an order for 40 new episodes that will begin airing. That will be airing all summer. Nickelodeon has already teased that viewers should expect other surprise stars from the channel's past during their show's run. All I have to say is that they should try to get Alanis Morissette. But I don't know if they could get her. Oh crap! I said I don't know. Brace yourself for no, nothing. I guess you can do that on television, but you can't do it on my podcast. Well, not official just yet. A big step in the Disney-Fox deal has happened. The Department of Justice has cleared the pending acquisition by Disney of 21st Century Fox's entertainment assets. Disney now has at least 90 days from the date of closing the transaction to complete the sale, with the possibility that the DOJ can grant extensions of time up to another 90 days. So there you go. That's another hurdle jumped, and we are closer to things such as Fox's Marvel assets joining the MCU, probably a Blu-ray set of the uncut Star Wars movies, and many, many, many other glorious things. And hopefully Comcast just gets out of the way. The Washington, the last story, this is a cringy one, guys, so bear with me on it. The Washington DC restaurant and bar called Diet Starts Monday has gotten a lot of flack for one of their celebrity-themed drinks. They are known for having drinks named after celebrities, both famous and infamous, such as Marvin Gaye, Taraji P. Henson, Marion Barry, Dave Chappelle, and others. The one that is getting them a lot of heat is a drink called the Pill Cosby. It is a cocktail made with Casa Noble tequila, hibiscus syrup, lime juice, pineapple juice, and garnished with fake pills. After receiving a ton of backlash over social media, the owners quickly removed the drink. Man, it's Captain Struggles today. Removed the drink from the menu and released a statement which reads, quote, "This drink was not made with any intent to offend anyone, especially not victims of rape. We take full responsibility." Excuse my sarcasm. The drink has since been removed from the menu, and we apologize to anyone who felt offended by this, end quote. Well, the Yelp reviews for the restaurant have gone to the negative side very quickly. Another note, the restaurant is around the corner from Ben's Chili Bowl, which considered Cosby an honored guest and included the comedian in a mural on its wall. That mural was painted over in January after months of pressure on the restaurant's owners to remove it, although the owner said the decision was made because, the whole thing needed a refreshing. Right. That's going to be in the quick hits. So now I'm going to be doing what I've been promising for a few weeks. This is the small YouTuber spotlight. This is where someone points me to a channel, or I find a channel. I haven't really decided on what the number is. Right now I'm kind of looking at under 2,000 people, since that's where I'm at. It may go a little higher, definitely going to go lower. But the YouTuber I want to look at for the first installment of this is the Movie Oracle. This is a YouTuber that was brought to my attention over Twitter by Dr. Movie 91, another channel that I really enjoy and will probably talk about in the future. Ashley Burnell, aka the Movie Oracle, is a YouTuber from Australia. Bonus points there because of my heritage. I am 1/4 Aussie on my mom's side. I miss you, Grandma Lena. Who, as of this taping of this podcast, has a little over 350 subscribers. First, if you're looking for a channel with variety, you can find it here. You're looking for movie reviews? She's got them. Like haul videos, where people show, what they, open in the boxes or what movies they found or whatever at stores. She's got them too. Rankings? Yep. Opinion pieces? Definitely. One thing I really like in a reviewer is if, like me, they do their best to do the research. Oracle not only gives you her thoughts, opinions, or whatever on movies, TV shows, etc., but she also gives them to you with lots of detail and facts thrown in. For example, in a review of Ocean's 8, she not only reviewed the movie and reviewed it very well, but she also was pointing out things like which character was wearing what brand of dress in the movie's famous walkout scene. The scene in the trailer, or if you've seen the movie where they're walking down the steps and they're all wearing all fancy dresses and everything. Well, she's naming like what every one of them dresses are. In her opinion piece for the upcoming The Conjuring spinoff movie, The Nun, she pointed out the smallest detail on why this movie shouldn't even be possible in the context of this movie's universe. By pointing out a line or two from The Conjuring 2. This is the kind of detail and work ethic that I admire in a reviewer. So, if you want to check out Oracle's channel, that's The Movie Oracle, and you should, I will have a link to it in the description below. Do you want to be the subject matter of the smaller YouTuber spotlight? If you'd like me to take a look at your channel, please put a link to it in the comment section below. The next few weeks, I'll be taking a look at some more channels that I like, or some that somebody may have turned me on to. I have some more in mind, but I want some new suggestions. So if you have some smaller YouTuber suggestions that I should look at, please leave a link to it in the comment section below. So anyway, the next thing, channel update. Forgive my struggles today. It's been a long week. And that's just preparing this program. Channel update. As I mentioned last week, by some miracle, my monetization is back. Again, though I've never seen a dime from YouTube, it's a small victory. I did get my first content warning already, for Gotti. It was about as gentle of a review of a mob movie as I think you can get. So I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's because of the picture I use. Some of you have seen the Detective Geno art on my channel. It's where I've got the long coat and the 6-shooter in my hand. That's why I purposely had my artist Crimson, who is another channel you should check out. And you know what? I'll put that link in the description below too. My artist, I was like, put orange caps on the guns because I want people to think they're toys, right? So yeah, I got hit for that for content, but it was gone the next day, thankfully. I also got hit with 2 copyright claims today from the WWE. Yes, that WWE. From interviews I did with pro wrestler Kia Stevens, also known as Awesome Kong, also known as Amazing Kong, or also known as Karma, depending on what history or what places you've seen her in. These interviews were like years old. Thanks, Uncle Vinny. Thanks, Vince. Thank you for those that helped me hit those goals. There's some that are new, and there's some that have been with me for a long time, and I know I've said this before, but I cannot say thank you enough. I'm going to be out of town on Saturday this week, taking my youngest son Rhino on his birthday trip. So my reviews of this weekend's movies will probably be a little late. I'll probably talk a little bit about the trip next week. Since it's happened, I don't have to keep a secret anymore. My oldest son keeps telling me where you're going. It's like, you'll tell him, you know. Talking movies will continue again. Early next week, you can check out, you'll be able to check out reviews for Sicario de Soldado, movie I'm really looking forward to. I'm hoping it will live up to the amazing first movie. I'll also have a review for Uncle Drew, which is based on the Kyrie Irving Pepsi Max commercials, which, by the way, I've never seen. I'm just going to say this. If they don't have Larry Johnson's grandma character from back in the day in this movie in some way, shape, or form, I will be mad. Because Kyrie Irving owes everything to those commercials, I think. I'm not sure when I can say anything detail-wise, but I have seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I got to see it on Tuesday. So keep an eye on the channel next week for that review as well. At the very latest, it'll be up on Thursday. But I think I'll be able to post it before then. I just have to contact the reps that get me those screenings. Gino's Bad at Games continues. I finally finished my playthrough of the Game of Thrones role-playing game plus the game's DLC Beyond the Wall. So you can check out all that whole series up on the channel. I'm really trying to decide what I'm going to play through next, what big game I'm going to play through next. I did buy some games during the Steam summer sale, so I'm sure it'll probably be one of those. I did do a quick playthrough of the beat 'em up, or I guess I should say slice 'em up, of Usagi Yojimbo, Way of the Ronin, which is a character based on a Dark Horse comic. Or those of you that grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would recognize that character. He was on that show as well, which is why I bought the game. So if you want to check that out, it's there. Also, I would ask that you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, mostly Twitter, of course, because I don't really like Facebook anymore. You can follow me at the Reel Geno. That's ReelGeno, just like the channel. That's where you get the latest channel news from me and from my partnership with Heisen Nerd with GB3. And of course, I want to draw your attentions to the Geek YouTube channel. While the podcast is probably taking a break, I'm willing to bet it's going to be kind of a special thing now. It doesn't mean that things aren't happening on the channel. So on the channel, make sure to check out our video GB3 Versus, where Bill and I go head-to-head in some trivia with special guest host, Mrs. Nerd herself, Danielle, who is the lovely lady that joined us for our Cobra Kai review on the channel. I'm going to try to talk the two of them into doing a show for the channel as well. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I'd like to see them two do something together like me and him do. We're making some more plans for the future as well. Also, I'd ask that you check out my partner in crime, Heisen Nerd's channel. That's HEISENERD. I have to have that in front of me every time. He does gaming live streams and Let's Plays. Does a podcast called Heisen Nerd Speaks. Also, make sure to check out his channel for our playthrough, or at least partial playthrough of Cuphead. You can watch the villains of Cuphead whoop up on us for a while. Also next week on Monday around 8 p.m. Central Time, we are going to be revisiting my past. And this will make sense to those that have played the game. We will be ABBAing our way through a live playthrough of the NES classic Akari Warriors, which was the first game that I ever owned, me and my brother ever owned, for the NES. Because when we bought the system, or we got the system when we were young, that one didn't come with any game. So my mom said we had to get a game that we could both play. So at the same time. So sorry, no Mario Brothers. We did eventually quickly get Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, though. It will be mind-numbing, folks. This game is it's a marathon, not a sprint. Definitely not a sprint. Those characters are slow. So definitely make sure to check that out. Again, that's going to be Monday around 8 p.m. Central Time. Akari Warriors. Should be a good time. And as always, that's the end of the program. So as always, thank you so much for your support. This is a big program today. I've been preparing this program every day since Friday last week. So yeah, I'm glad to be through this program. But yes, those of you that support this program and support the channel, thank you so much as always. I can't thank you enough. As always, this is the end of Get on the Mic. As always, I am your host, the Real Geno Reynolds. I will see you next time. I'm probably going to go back to work now, and there's probably going to be stuff that is ready for next week's program, so I guess I better get started. See you guys later. Peace.